I've got to see where I'm at. Harvey Dent. I'm really tired. He's the new white knight in town. Bruce Wayne isn't looked at much anymore by the rest of the people. And when he was looked at, he was looked at as like the billionaire playboy. Everyone looked at Bruce Wayne, and they still do in this movie, as someone that's in it for himself and lives for himself, but they don't know his true identity, which is not really who he's putting on. It's a facade. He really is Batman before he is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is his identity underneath the Batman costume. But if you look at Bruce Wayne really is the costume, and Batman is the person that he really is underneath. And you see that in this movie, and he's fighting that because he's become Batman, and that's his main identity now compared to the last movie. The last movie, he became Batman. This movie, he's wanting to become Bruce Wayne again. And a lot of the theme, now that I think about it, that's brought out is that you can't go back to what you once were. And so he's becoming acquainted with the fact that he can't be Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy with no worries anymore. He's gone so far, and he's squeezed the villains of Gotham City into a little tube, and they are fighting against him. They've teamed up, and now they've got some psychopath that all the other villains have put their trust in, and they didn't even really understand him. And Alfred brings that out a little bit, and you'll, by far, if you're watching this to find out if it's good and if it's worth your money, go see it, because it is beyond. There's nothing that even compares. You can compare epic movies that have gone down in history like E.T. or Jurassic Park. This is one of those if you're talking about superhero movies, and this isn't even about superheroes. It's about protectors and people who care more about the things and the people around them than they do themselves. And Bruce Wayne is trying to get to the point where he doesn't care about other people as much anymore, because that's become his life. He doesn't even have himself anymore. He doesn't have anyone else. Rachel's involved with the new district attorney, who's Harvey Dent, and he's just set on taking all the criminals and putting them away. And so you see how Bruce Wayne looks at Harvey Dent, and he's saying to himself, you know, this is the new guy in town that can take Batman's place. This guy can put the criminals away without even putting a mask on. I don't need to be around putting them behind bars if he's around. So Bruce Wayne makes him, Harvey Dent, his hope. The Scarecrow shows his face for a little bit at the beginning, which I was glad. It brought in a few elements to the movie, and he was quickly taken out, of course, and he didn't show up again. And then the city deals with Batman. People acknowledge that he breaks the law to enforce the law, because he's not living by the law as a citizen. He takes his own place in being a civil servant, and he's not. He's not a police officer. And so he's breaking the law by getting in between the police and the bad guys. But the city has just kind of said, well, we need him, so we're going to accept his help. We're not going to turn him away. But when certain circumstances are brought about, the city almost turns on Batman, and that deals a little bit with the ending. I'm not going to give that away because my reviews aren't spoilers, and so I won't go into that. The shots were wonderful. But before I get into that, also, Two-Face comes to play a little bit, but I won't say who he is. If you've read the comic books and you've watched the cartoons, you know who Two-Face was before he became an evil villain. But if you don't, then I'm going to let you watch the movie and find out for yourself, because it'll come about, it'll show itself in a way that you'll kind of be caught off guard. And that brings another fact, is that you watch this movie and there are parts that make you jump. There was one that really made me it hurt me, but I loved it. It was great. It's not a scary movie. It's a dark movie, and it can scare you. It's not for little kids. Normally people think, oh, it's Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. It's for my little 5-year-old son. It's not, by far, at all. There's a lot of dark themes. There's a little bit of violence with guns and things, but you can expect that. There's not a lot of cursing at all, which really made me happy. Any member of the LDS Church could go and see this, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the Mormon Church. You can go and see that and not even worry about seeing your bishop that next Sunday about how you sinned by seeing a bad movie or anything like that. one thing that I really want to make clear is that the Joker is bad. He is no good. He is mean. I mean, he's a terrorizer. And some of the cartoons you see him as a clown. You think he's real funny, but he's not funny in the movie. He's a psychopath, and he's very scary. He's a bad guy. And that comes to play a lot with how the movie is a dark theme. The movie was 2.5 hours. I was there in my seat from 3:15 to 5:45 on the nose watching the movie. And so you can count on being there that long and watching the movie. And it's the whole thing through. There's no slow parts. And even when it is slow, for very small moments, there's a lot of dialogue. And the dialogue is compact, firmly. And so what you're getting between the characters talking is a lot of information that you need to pay attention to, because it will really help you with understanding the plot and what people are thinking. And if you notice those things, you'll come out of the movie and think about it, like on your way home, like I did. You'll notice things, you'll pick it up, your mind will start putting those delayed things together, those conversations, and you'll understand a lot more. I don't know if I said this, I'm too tired to remember, but I went to the IMAX viewing, and so later today, not tonight because I think the tickets are sold out, but later this afternoon I'm going to go and see it again, only in regular format, which shouldn't be too different. I think that there were only about so many scenes that were shot in IMAX. The director really wanted to do that, but I recommend seeing this movie beyond anything. So expect another little bit of a blog clip from me tonight, and I'll tell you what I thought about the movie altogether and everything else. I'm going to be a little busy, so I'm going to try to get this all together and put together soon. I know that a few of my reviewers, the reviewers that I watch, are putting some of their things up tonight, like Sean and MJ. They're putting some of their stuff up tonight, and I'm going to be tuning into that because that's important. Those guys are great. They're hilarious, and they just are good. And I guess they're putting together a really big review for the Batman movie. They do parodies. It's Don and Murph. And so if you look at YouTube, go to Don and Murph, search that, and you'll find all kinds of great stuff. Their material is great. It's even, I think it's better than the whole muffins bit. If any of you guys know the muffins and all that, I mean, that's not a continued thing. Even the Kelly videos, those are so spread out, but the Sean and MJ really do a good job with continuing and putting new posts up. And I haven't seen a lot of Don and Murph lately because they've gotten more into shooting their blogs like I did today with the whole going around. And by the way, I would have had more, but it was kind of messed up with how I didn't have enough footage. This is my memory card that I'm using now, and before it was someone else's, and they had all kinds of stuff on it. And so I didn't have enough time to shoot everything, or else I would have had a whole discussion of what we talked about on the way home. And unfortunately, I don't have that. But I've tried to include a lot of my thoughts right here so you know what you're walking into tonight or tomorrow or whenever you go to see this movie. It'll be out for a few months, I guarantee. But I'll post some more tonight with some of the new thoughts that I have after I've seen it again. I'm sure I'll have some new ones, so there it is. I'm going to sleep sometime today. I don't know when.